instead of like, wow, I think this house has a lot of equity. I'm thinking I can make 100,000. Like that is the wrong way to think.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want to think that way going into a deal because people can spot that, and that shouldn't be your motivation anyway. Because the money will come, but the thing is, you are providing a service by helping people get out of this situation that they're in, and so yeah, obviously you do get paid to do this service, but it's a valuable thing that you're doing and that we're doing. There's obviously a lot of other people that do this too, but going back to the shift in mentality. You, I know we were working on a project together. We had a house out in Bloomington that we were doing. Actually, we had two in Bloomington we were doing together. And on the first one, you were the contractor because you really wanted to get in there and do that project yourself. And we were like, all right, go for it, And so I think you learned a lot on that project because you never have you ever run a full house like that? Or was that your first one?
No, I've run actually a few projects like that were actually a little bit more extensive where we were adding a bedroom and a bath.
Oh wow.
But I gotta still tell you that not all the ducks were in a row.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was so excited that I didn't think it out all the way through.
Yeah, and that could be tricky. I know. Because I remember we had talked before on the show. You had mentioned when you were putting together some of your numbers for the construction, you knew you were going to be putting in cabinets, but you forgot about the drywall and the electrical and the stuff that goes behind it. So I remember we all looked at it. We all looked at your line item budget you had given us, and we're like, this is light, but we're going to let Charlie do this and figure it out. Because maybe call us jerks or whatever you want to call us, but we all knew. But you have to kind of have that moment, you have to have that aha moment of your own. I can't teach you that. Everybody has to learn from, like you said, failure. I mean, it's like I failed to put together an accurate contract. I ended up making nothing as a contractor on this deal, and I ended up costing the job more. But the thing is, we had our budget was much bigger. We had the money to pay for the budget we expected it to be. So when it came in, well under budget, we were like, okay, we're not gonna touch this money. The money's still there. We got to keep the money there for this project because we know it's gonna go over. So, but we let you make that failure, which I don't know.
Then you're my favorite jerks.
Yeah.
Because I think because of that lesson specifically.
Yeah.
It started. It was such an aha moment because I was like, I didn't think of everything that was going into the house because I was just so busy. Like, I can't believe this happened. Go, go, go. And so then after
that first house,
after you put
we move on to the second one, you had nothing to do with that one.
Because I don't want to be the contractor.
Right.
I was in construction. If I wanted to do construction, by golly, I'd get a general contractor's license and become a contractor.
Sure.
But that's not what I want to do.
Exactly.
I want to be the investor. I want to be the guy that's searching for the deals and then hiring rehab guys to go in there and just fix it up.
Exactly. I think that was a smart choice on your part to definitely go that route because, I mean, I've worked with tons of contractors. I know you have too. And you meet these guys and they're all like, "Oh man, I wish I want to do that. I want to flip a house one day. Do something." You're like, "Cool, man, do it. I'll help you out if you want." But so few of them actually end up taking that next step, which is, doing anything towards that goal. And it's tough to sometimes you have this great idea in your head and you want to do something, but in your case, you'd been wanting to do flipping and all that for a while. I know that you were working with other guys that were doing fortune builders and stuff like that.
It wasn't fortune builders. It was, remember when I met you with Kendall and Darren?
Yeah.
Down in Marietta.
Yep.
Those guys were actually, I think it was 2012 maybe or 13. Well, anyways, they were still going down to the auction, if you can believe it, down here.
Well, yeah, because there was still some decent,
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But
Oh man, it's just, there was a lot of competition. There always has been at the auctions, but there's that same competition still present, but less than half of the deals.
Yes. I think I took little pieces of puzzle, so I worked for a couple other different investors also. So I think once I decided there was no going back. It was firm.
Yeah.
And so I just needed to get there. I didn't know how long it was going to take. Part of the journey it's myself, though. Part of this journey was myself holding me back, even though I wanted to keep moving forward.
Yeah, there's this exercise I know that one of the one of the guys, I think it's Gary Johnston, does this exercise where he he puts a number up on like a whiteboard, like $100 or something like that. He's like, okay, I have a house for sale for $100. Who here is comfortable putting up $100? You know, and then he starts adding zeros: 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Now you're at $1 million. Like, you know, and those hands start coming down. You know, like when you hit these certain barriers, you know, and because people have these things in their mind that
Limited.
Yeah, they're like, you know. I know for me, like when the first time I heard him make that presentation, it wasn't until he got to about 100 million that I got really, you know, like, I don't know where I'd put together 100 million that quickly, you know. 10 million, if the deal's good, the money's out there. That's the thing, you know. And for 100 million, the same thing goes. And there's actually, I've dealt with a lot of these like hedge fund type people, a lot of these, you know, larger commercial banks and investment banks, and I've dealt with all these people too, and if I had $100 million deal, those would be the first people I would end up going to, you know, because they would want that. But the problem is, I know what they want from me, and they're going to want like a huge cash reserve, probably around 10% at least of what the total project is. And I don't have $10 million cash sitting around. Sorry, I know some people out there think I'm some crazy rich guy with sitting on mountains of cash, but you know, realistically, I don't have cash. I don't. What's the point of cash? Cash it does nothing. It's a tool. You know, it's a screwdriver sitting on a workbench. That's what cash is to me. You know, it's not the glorious thing that people think. I don't even know why people chase cash, to be honest.
No, no, and you're right. You know, my business was built on just rapport, like building rapport. So I think that itself is a currency. Money's a currency itself.
Yeah.
I think time could be a currency also.
Sure.
And I think building rapport with the right people is also a currency, right? And
it is.
I built a rapport around the right group of people. You, Todd, and other people.
Todd. You talking about Steven?
You and Steven.
I know what you're talking about. But for those good folks that are listening on the radio right now, they don't see who you're pointing at. You know.
Thanks for correcting me.
Yeah, no, I had to. You know, no. So yeah, no, I'm glad to have you on our network because obviously we've worked together. We've done some good projects together, so that's cool. And looking forward to doing some more at some point. That'd be fun. But so when you're building, I'm going to keep bringing it back to business planning because your process in building it. Like we'll talk a little bit about how you guys work on the internal side of your business, which is you and your 5 guys, and you know you guys are all out basically canvassing certain areas, looking for these deals. And you are, you know, putting together all these resources for the homeowners, and then your guys are looking to, you know, in some cases refer them out to like a realtor, somebody if they need to sell their home, but there's nothing really wrong with it, which happens quite a bit of time because not everybody's living in a complete pigsty. Let's be honest. Probably realistically, there's like 10% of the population that live in kind of terrible situations with their homes with like a hole in their ceiling, and you know, but when you're putting this together, I mean, how did you come up with the idea, and how did you start putting it into action? Where you're thinking, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to print out these giant maps of things and start putting those on the walls. Like, like how do your thoughts start coming into this, and how do you start coming into that decision?
It's all been stewing for the last 5 years. It's like a big puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay, and each podcast, each investment club that I go to, each person that I talk to that's got more knowledge than I do, I get a little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's our job to be students. I'm always going to be a student.
Of course.
Okay? So it's my job to collect all these nuggets and put it together. I figured out when I was working for a gentleman, I was out in the Newport Beach, Costa Mesa area, and he had me farm these areas. Well, I was in the same office as another engineer, another architect, and when the architect would be done with the plans, I said, "Hey, can I have those?" And he said, "Yes." I would turn them over, and I literally start drawing out all the blocks because I wanted to specifically know exactly what I was looking at, like how many houses sit on this block. Is it 11?
Yeah.
Is it 22? Is it 24? Like how many? And I wanted to really start honing in. And so I drew out all the blocks in 2013. And then we sent out mail. And then, he ended up buying some houses. So that was in the back of my mind. But I didn't necessarily always wanted to be a flipper. Right now, we mostly concentrate on the acquisition because I want to have control of the inventory.
Yeah.
Whatever is good, then we'll rehab that or whatever it is that we plan to do. But I'm gonna go back because I go off on a tangent. That's how I came up with the idea of with taking certain areas and then figuring out exactly what you're looking at. So I took it apart. Once I did that, then I started blowing up these maps. I'm like, okay, great. These are the areas right here. We're not going to look anywhere else.
Yeah.
We're only going to dial it in right here. And then I think once you can dial it in, even as much of a small area as a half a mile by 2 miles, sits 20,000 houses.
Sure.
That's only a 2-mile radius. When I hear other people and they are saying, yeah, I mean, I invest all of Riverside, I'm thinking, you know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But chances are, based on, unless you're a real seasoned guy,
Yeah.
chances are probably you're sending a lot of mail everywhere. And chances are you probably don't even know how to really analyze the deal because you're not very specific. When I'm very specific, I know exactly what I'm looking at. Between 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Lot size is going to be a little bit over 6,000 square feet.
Sure.
I know that the resale is going to be about 350. I know
Right
we
now.
want to pick that thing up about 225, 250, somewhere around there, so we can leave enough for us if
Sure.
we're going to wholesale it.
Yeah.
We already know those numbers. We already know what the house looks like. So when I'm talking to the seller, I pull up Podio, and I have all this information, right? So I know what the house looks like.
Yep.
Right, I know if they have if they do or don't have equity or if they're upside down. Like I have all these tools.
Yeah.
That's where people fail
Oh, sure.
because they don't have all the necessary tools. They don't have they don't even have a very specific area that they're farming,
Right.
and so they're very easily to give up. You can see by having all this information, we get it dialed in. So if I'm talking to you on the phone, I'm like, so Todd, you have a house out in Riverside. Great. I noticed that it's near Washington Middle School.
Okay.
Awesome. Did you know, how long have you been living at the house for?
Sure. You want me to role play right
No,
now?
no.
Is that what we're doing? I was like, I'll role play. This will be fun. You know.
No, well, sure, we can. We actually can. So when we're on the phone, right, I already have a picture of the house. I already know what the house looks
Yeah.
like. Okay, I already know how many bedrooms, how many baths. I have a lot of information. I have a map, and I'm looking at while I'm talking to you.
Right.
So if we're having a conversation, and I say, "Hey, Todd, you know,
You ever been to the Chipotle that's right there?
yeah, how long have you been living there?"
Yeah. Oh, you want me to
just
role play
role-play,
now? All right,
yeah.
all right. I've been living there for 15 years.
Oh, awesome. Hey, I noticed that St. Francis Church. I noticed that was built in the 1800s.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
I'll stay quiet and hear what they have to say because now what I'm doing is I'm specifically collaborating. I'm specifically mentioning something that they know, so it makes it feel more like we know each other.
Yeah.
We're actually, what I'm trying to do is build more rapport.
Well, if this conversation started off with, "Hey Todd, how long have you been living in that house?" I'd be like, "Who is this?" And they start talking about the church down the street. I'd be like, "What? Why are you asking me?"
I wouldn't normally go into a
I know.
conversation.
I'm just messing with you. I'm sure you don't because you actually get deals. If that's how you started your conversations, you can pretty much not get a deal ever.
You know,
Because you got to have that personal side. You got to have
Yes.
that personal touch. You know, and like people are like, I would say people are pretty hesitant to pick up the phone as it is with a phone with a number that's not saved in their contacts list already in their phone. But you know, when you get them on the phone, that's definitely a tricky thing to do sometimes. I know, like I did telesales way back in the day, and you know, we had all these objection handlers, we call it. You know, where if
Yes.
people if they say this, then you say this. If they say this, you know, and for all kinds of things like, oh, I don't remember requesting information. I don't remember, you know, doing that. Or like, I'm not interested. You say you're not interested. Or how could you not be interested in, you know, for me, I was doing life insurance. Like, you don't want to protect your family in the event of your, you know, like it's sometimes like a little, you know, a little crass, a little bit, you know.
yes.
Like sometimes like it's a little indignant the way you have to come off to these people. Like, because in the case I was doing, they sent something in. They were requesting information, so it's kind of like, why did you request this information if you didn't want to talk to me, like, I'm calling you to give you the information that you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to kind of like bring them back in sometimes. It was a little tough.
But you know what? I agree with you. You know what else has really, really helped me out is, day in, day out doing the business, where you become comfortable, where you are already at.
Okay.
I'm becoming really comfortable with the process.
Yeah.
So you want to make it to where it's really easy, and we're just going to have a normal conversation like the way me and you are right now.
Sure.
This is the ideal, except I probably want to have you sitting maybe in the kitchen area.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But other than that,
these chairs aren't built for comfort,
Other than that, I won't have the same conversation, but it's just going to be on the house, or maybe not. Maybe it's not about the house.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to talk about what's going on with them, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
And most times, that's going to be really beneficial to me.
Of course.
So,
want to be ultimately beneficial to them, because it's like a doctor. If you go to a doctor and don't tell them everything that's going on, you're trying to hide something. You're like, I don't want to tell my doctor that I drink alcohol from time to time. Like, if you don't tell him, like, he might not ever look at your liver for that might be what the problem is. You don't know. So if people are holding stuff back from you, and you're trying to help them out with their financial situation, then that's that's going to affect their outcome to some degree.
Mm-hmm. I think if you could be just a genuine person, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
None of this crap where I buy houses, yes, for cash really quick. None of that crap. Like, if you put that stuff aside and just say, hey, listen, okay, we're just, two normal human beings.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know, like, what's going on. I already know that you're in pre-foreclosure.
Yeah. And people are going to want to work with you because you're friendly. I mean, I've tried to sell houses on my own, like do like for sale by owner type stuff. And, you get these phone calls from other investors. And some of these people are just absolute terrible people on the phone. Like, they're like, oh, I want to buy your house. And I'm like, okay, do you know the address? Do you have an offer in mind? And they're like, oh yeah, over there, I want to pay, $200 for that house. I'm like, do you understand that I just finished renovating this thing? It's in brand new condition. Like, this house is not worth $200. I'm selling it for $450 right now. Like, $200 is going to be a little low for me. And they're like, oh yeah, no, you get all mad and hang up on me or something. I'm like, how is that going to win you a deal? Like, we could have potentially worked on another deal together. Mm-hmm. I'm clearly another investor.
Yes.
Why be mean to me? Mm-hmm. Because investors, we always have all these different things going on. Like, there are times where we need help from outside people. Sometimes we're running low on our investor side. We need some people to come in that might have some cash. We could joint venture on a deal, something like that. There's times where we need some help too. Mm-hmm. And other investors, they need help from us. So we joint venture with them. We do it a lot. So
I think that's perfect. I think
being friendly.
Not just being friendly, finding the correct people to work with, it makes it really enjoyable, right? You enjoy what you're doing. And when you find those people, like, you want to continue working with them. If you see something that's going to be off at the beginning, just go ahead and cut that relationship off, call it a loss, and move on to someone that
of course,
it's going to pick up the phone, someone that's going to respond, and someone that's going to take responsibility, like, hey, I messed up. I know I probably should have added more on the repairs.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. This is what I put in. So, hey, I made that decision.
Yeah.
I want to take responsibility for the decision. Will I do that again? No way, Jose.
Yeah.
But I owned up, and that's probably the best thing that anyone could do is take responsibility for what it is. That way, the relationships keep developing and keep moving forward, and they don't stop halfway or even before it gets started.
Yeah. So, and I guess that kind of brings us to also like team building. When you're building your internal team, the guys you're going to have going out knocking on doors, dealing with these homeowners, you have to train them and all these things. So, were there certain qualities that you're looking for, certain personality traits you're looking for in your guys?
That's the main thing that I'm looking for is all traits. If someone wants to join but they don't have the experience in real estate, that's okay.
Yeah.
I just want you to have the right personality and to...
So what is the right personality?
The right personality is going to be, no matter what it is, you're going to give it your best. So you're asked today, go knock on doors and retrieve information.
Yeah.
You go knock on all those doors, but somehow you don't end up retrieving that information. that it's okay because I'm looking for you just to take that action.
Right.
Okay, because now you're open for me to input the correct information for you to go out and do it again.
Yeah.
So those are the traits you wanna do your best, and that you'll stay consistent. Here's the key word: consistently. Is what I'm really looking for.
Sure, because that's important. Like 9/10 of this business is just showing up, really.
Yes.
You know, just continue, keep doing it. Because as people start to get to see you around, and then they start to say, like, okay, maybe this person isn't just some flake. Because there's a lot of people that come into this business, then they're gone in a flash. You know, they're not that they're like fly by night people. They don't get a deal, they get frustrated, and they move on to some multi-level marketing thing or something. But they. I don't know how to, and I don't know how to motivate and keep these people in. Like we've tried through the club because we have, 3,500 members now in the club, and like a good number of those people have come to a meeting or two, and some of them might have come to one of our cash flow games, or they might have come to our coffee event, or they might have come to the big monthly meeting or one of our networking things we've done, and maybe they didn't meet the right person or something, and they didn't come back. I don't know what it is that's not keeping them in, but I think there's a lot of flakes that come into the real estate business, thinking that they're just gonna, write an offer on their neighbor's house, buy the house, flip it, and make $100,000, and then repeat it with the next neighbor's house. Maybe they think it's easier than it is. Maybe because they make it look easy on TV. Maybe we all make it look easy. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem, and they get kind of hit in the face with the harsh reality of it not being as easy as they thought. I don't know. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear some feedback from people out there of why they didn't come back and why they kind of gave up on it. I don't get the opportunity to ever talk to these people after they stop coming. Maybe we'll have to work on an email campaign or something.
That would be good. That would be great as people walking in the club, just like, would be great, and Fortune Builders does this. When you walk into their club, they specifically ask, why are you here? Like, why?
Yeah.
I think if people were to answer that question of why they're attending your club and why it is that they're going to stop doing all the stuff that's fun for them and do all the stuff that's not fun.
Sure.
So all the stuff that you enjoy doing, watching TV, drinking beer, whatever, playing poker with the guys, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. What reason or why would you want to stop doing that and dedicate all your time to searching for properties or watching podcasts, or being on YouTube, or emailing guys and trying to figure out what's going on? What's your drive? Because if it's not there, I'd rather take you off the bus and send you home and then grab the right person, put them on the bus, put a few of those people on the bus, and then head the direction. Because now what I learned through you guys is through a group, you're going to do more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I wish that I had a group like the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club when I got started, because when I got started, there was actually a small group of like realtors that had gotten together every Thursday or something like that every week, and they did this thing called a caravan out in Moreno Valley. That's where so I was working with my mom at that time. She's an appraiser, so she'd go with all these realtors to all these caravans, and she'd go to all the houses along the caravan route that day. And I ended up meeting a lot of people in the network of that. But you're meeting the lenders, the title people, the escrow, and the real estate agents. But you're not really meeting any homeowners. You're not meeting the people that a flipper would want to buy, or an investor or an acquisitions company would want to be buying from. So I never got that direct hands-on experience working with people that own a home and are in a situation like that. So that's why I never got into actually making offers directly to homeowners myself. I always went through somebody else. I always went through an agent because that's who I knew. The agents were always sitting down with the homeowners, so I would just tell them I'm looking for houses, and they'd show me a bunch of stuff, and I'd say, cool, write an offer on this, and this, so that's how my business kind of grew. And I've still never made an offer directly to a seller because I've never put myself in that place. It's not my strong position. I'm better at putting a team together.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy that niche where on the MLS, there's still there is deals to be found, but look, take the Bloomington house, the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing made over $100,000. Yeah. Right, and I forget what we ended up splitting like 82 or something. There's those type of spreads. I'm not saying that they're not out there in the MLS.
Oh, they're out there.
But what I'm saying is, for me, it's better going directly to sellers because that's
sure.
where I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit a lot of the home runs
Yeah.
in that era and in that arena. And I'm also going to be still calling agents in my area, in my farm areas. I'm going to be calling, and we're going to still continue to keep marketing.
Yeah.
Right. But our strong point is notice defaults because we know that they have probably the highest urgency of anyone.
Absolutely, yeah, because they're facing losing the home and getting nothing for it in the near future. So, yeah, they want to resolve whatever issues are going on as quickly as possible if they're not in denial, which they can be. Okay, so our goal is obviously to talk about business development. I feel like we kind of touched on some of the subjects a little bit, and I guess if you had to make it like one blanket piece of advice for all the people listening right now on something they can do today to help start something tomorrow, what would you tell them?
Go get a 4x6 index card. Write the 6 things that you want to accomplish today, like right now.
Yeah.
Like today, not tomorrow.
Okay.
Today. Turn that index card and write why. Like, why are you going to do that? For what reason?
Okay.
Okay. That's one thing that you can do today.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do is write out what you're going to do for the week and load it up on Google Calendar.
Yep.
Okay. That way you're telling yourself what to do.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
like work
Charlie,
out 8 o'clock.
Yes. That's what I recommend is probably starting there first. Is get yourself in gear first. So probably the best piece of advice that I can give first is get yourself set up, get yourself balanced, take care of yourself, eat well, go exercise, and then write out. Like, that's the biggest piece of advice I can give anyone. Like, write it out, please.
And you know what? I'm glad you said it because, like, if anybody's been tuning in the last few weeks, we've been talking about goal setting and business development. That's what everybody's been saying. You got to start putting your things in your calendar, give yourself a schedule, and you have to start deciding what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with your future, how you want to do it, and how you're going to shape that and why you're doing it. It's really important, and we're about out of time. So before we go, just want to tell anybody out there, if you're interested in getting into the business, come check out the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. You can find all the information on meetup.com. Look up the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, and we'll hope to see you at one of our future events. I'd like to thank Charlie Hustle for coming out today. Really appreciate you coming, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you all again next week, Thursday, 4 p.m. Have a good week, everyone. Take care.